Is this a dip opportunity? Or could Bitcoin actually be on its course to crash? We're going to dissect into the charts later in this video, and this is exactly why you guys should be paying attention to Bitcoin first things first, because it is still the driver of this market. If Bitcoin dips like today, we're going to see quite a bit of the altcoins dipping with it. And if Bitcoin pumps, that is still very good for the altcoins. So you want to be rooting for Bitcoin if you're long on altcoins. I never trade altcoins without a clear understanding of Bitcoin, so this is why I talk about it first things first every day. And we got some very important things to be covering because Bitcoin is still in a critical zone until it breaks out of this pattern, either to the upside or downside. Now, my opinion, I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here, so my opinion on this market is still bullish. But these are just my opinions and not financial advice. You gotta form your own opinions, okay? Now, and of course, I'm going to point out a few things on why I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. We're going to be covering a few altcoin setups, which would include Tars AI, which is Thai USDT. We're going to be talking about Ankr. We're also going to be talking about Book of Meme, BOME USDT, and see what's happening in these coins, what has changed since last time I've talked about them. What are their updated price targets, trading patterns? We're going to get all into it. We're also going to be talking about some major economics and crypto news first. I'm also going to be responding to viewer comments later after the news section. That's going to be new, okay? That's going to be very interesting. So let's go ahead and go to some news first, and then we're going to go to some viewer comments. I'll answer them for you live, and we're going to dive into the charts afterwards. So this is by Market Watch. Kevin Durant's Bitcoin investment is quote-unquote through the roof, but he's locked out of his account. I mean, is this some kind of a joke? I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think Kevin Durant is it's a dumb guy. I'm not a fan of Kevin Durant. He's a basketball player, but I really don't think he's that dumb. So I just don't really want to get too much into this news because it's more of entertainment for me, right? But it's we really didn't really have that much interesting news, macro news here today. So this is why we're here on this one. But I'm skeptical about this one. What do you guys think? All right, let's go ahead and go to the next piece here, which is by Cointelegraph. Bitcoin price forecasts 110K, targets as 4.9 trillion options expiry arrives. So this is of course some bearish news for you guys. I am open-minded to both bullish and bearish news because I like to, think about what the other side thinks, right? I think that is a very good way to keep myself in my ideas in check and see what the other side is saying that could be valid. I disagree with this headline. I think the chances of 110K is quite slim at this point because there's quite a bit of moving averages that could be support for Bitcoin. So this is why I think 110K, the chances of this happening is quite slim. Okay, let's look at some key points though. Okay, Bitcoin fails to close above 117.2, opening the door to support retest. Yes, I do agree with that key point, but I do think there's quite a bit of moving averages again underneath Bitcoin price action. I'll point out some of those to you guys later in this video. Next is a giant $4.9 trillion options expiry event adds further friction for Bitcoin bulls on Friday. I mean, I don't really think that was too much friction. Yeah, it was a little bit of a dip, and it did bring down quite a bit of the altcoins, but I really don't think it's that much of a alarm right now. The next piece here is next key point here is order book liquidity shows bid massing at 110K and above, creating a magnet for price. So I think what this is saying is that there's going to be a bunch of buyers at 110K. Well, I mean that doesn't really. I mean, it doesn't really tell me that much. Yeah, you could be bidding at 110K, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get there, right? So let's go ahead and go move on to the next piece here. Now, this is by you today. Bitcoin on verge of scoring its best September ever. Yeah, so far it hasn't been a bad September. Okay, that's all I can say. All right, that's all I can say. I know that a lot of people say that Septembers are weak, but I really think it really depends on the trading pattern that arrives in September. And of course, we had a pretty good FOMC meeting because now we're expecting two more rate cuts for the year. So that is significant, up from the initial two rate cut expectations. Next piece is by Crypto Potato. Fed rate cuts, Bitcoin comms at 116K, BNB hits 1K, XRP ETFs go live. That's major. I haven't really been trading XRP, but I know that there are some XRP fans out there. You guys let me know what happens in the comment section below. I do think that anything that is bullish for Bitcoin is bullish for the altcoins, XRP included. Now, your weekly crypto recap. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next piece here. That's basically what's significant that happens. Also, want to mention that Total 3, which is representative of all the altcoins in this market, excluding Ethereum, is basically tapped all-time highs at about 1.17 trillion. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look into that chart as well because that's what we're interested in, how the altcoins are going to be performing, if they're going to be breaking out and have a huge breakout soon. Let's come back to this idea here, which is an idea I've shared with you guys 2 days ago, where I talked about a trader's idea on TradingView about a possible retest back down to about 113K, right? I still think 113K. I mean, there's a chance. There is a chance, right? Because that is basically the resistance out of a cup and handle pattern that Bitcoin broke out of. I do think that chance is not that big, right? Because I'll show you guys why. But it is in I think it is in an ascending triangle, as well. So let me take a look here for you guys, okay? Now, let's just do a very quick recap here. Okay, this is the daily time frame. Very important for Bitcoin to break out of this bearish pattern, which is a rising wedge pattern, because if it doesn't and it breaks down by this point here, the price target will still be about just right above 75K here. Okay, that's going to be catastrophic for the altcoins, right? But there's a lot of support beneath that breakdown point, and even the price action right now and that breakdown target. So I really doubt that it's going to hit that target. Okay, that's just my opinion. Now, I also want to point out to you guys that ascending channel that trader was talking about. So I think he's talking about something more like this, but I do have, which an ascending channel is still a bearish pattern. I do still have Bitcoin in a short-term ascending channel on the 12-hour, right? And it did try to break out of that, but was unsuccessful. Very important for Bitcoin to break out of this rising channel here because it's still valid. Those wicks above the pattern does not invalidate the pattern. It is almost at the 12-hour 21 SMA, which is at about 115.4 as support. It hasn't quite hit that yet, okay, as you guys can see. It went very close to it before buyers bought it up. So you're really, I mean, if you're long in this market, you really want to see Bitcoin break out of this ascending channel here. Otherwise, breakdown target is going to be depending on when it breaks down. Let's just say here, for example, breakdown target would be about 113K. Now there's quite a bit of support, including the 12-hour 21 SMA, right? You have your daily 50 SMA that's going to be support at 114K. Your daily 21 SMA that is currently at about 113K that's coming up, okay? You have a lot of short-term moving averages that support as well, including your 6-hour 50 SMA, 6-hour 200 SMA. That's why I think a drop down to 110K is not that likely. I mean, it's a slim chance just because of quite a bit of these moving averages that are coming up as support. And as more time goes by, these moving averages, if they don't get broken down, they're going to be higher. So you're going to have higher support. Something I want to note though is that is that as of yesterday's 3-day candle close, there is I still don't consider that as solid candle close here for the 3-day candle yesterday above the 3-day 21 SMA. So that's something to be considering. So this is basically it for Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and go to Total 3. Total 3, it did try to break out of that huge cup and handle pattern I've been talking about, right? Because it's significant. This pattern has been building since November 2021. And the resistance is 1.15 trillion. Very important for Total 3 to break out of this and not end up with bearish divergence on the weekly time frame, because that is a possible scenario. Very important to be watching this weekend as well. Let's take a look into the 12-hour time frame. Also a rising wedge pattern here. You want to see, I mean this is in favor of a breakdown here, okay? And this has built up as of yesterday, since it has not been able to pull away. Breakdown target would be about 1.08 trillion. That's going to take quite a bit of these gains away. So something to be paying attention to on a shorter term, if you're worried about it on a shorter term, okay? So this basically is it for some of these charts here. Now, I am bullish on the crypto markets because stock market has broken out of its bearish pattern. I mentioned that about last week. Okay, so that is one main point, and of course the Fed rate cut cycle that's beginning. Let's take a look into some viewer comments here. I'm not sure if this first comment is a spam, but I can't really tell. I mean, it sounds fishy, so probably don't want to respond to it. Second is gonna be by this person. He's a regular viewer. He's a big Terra Luna Classic fan. Okay, so I will be doing more Terra Luna Classic updates if enough of you guys want to see it. Next is by this person here, which is commenting on my SCI video, which he is. I mean, he sounds very bullish on SCI. So something, I'm bullish on the entire crypto markets, unless the project sucks and it just goes under. But I think a lot, if not most, if not all of these cryptos with with legit projects, I think they're gonna pump. Okay, but of course there's gonna be an end to the bull cycle as well. So something to be keeping mindful of. Next one is going to be by this person. Keep giving updates on GRT, which is the graph token, which I will. Okay. Toshi will moon. Yes, I do think that is a very good possibility. Peak, yeah, I would consider doing more peak as well. So if you guys want me to do any coins, continue to put it in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and go to some altcoin setups. Book of Meme, see what's happening with Book of Meme here. So this is the weekly time frame for BOME. I've talked about this, and it is still running within a falling wedge pattern. If it breaks down by this point here, breaks out by this point here, price target would be about 1.6 cents price target. Price targets are estimates only. There could be more, there could be less. Okay, it very much depends on what happens with Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin dumps, these altcoin setups, they're not going to be worth very much. Within the falling wedge pattern here is a possible cup and handle that is still forming. The resistance would be about point 0.3 point almost 0.33 cents. Okay, if it comes up to test that the resistance two more times, then this would look a lot more like a cup and handle. But right now, it's still too early to say. Let's take a look into a daily time frame, a smaller time frame for more clarity. I talked about a falling wedge pattern here, probably more noticeable on a smaller time frame. Price target has been met, and some more. So I'm going to take this away. And it looks like BOME is trying to stay on top of some of these daily moving averages here, right? Your daily 21 SMA, which is currently retesting at about 0.2 cents. You want to see that hold, otherwise it could come down to the daily 50 SMA. That's going to be the next level of support. That's about 0.195 cents here, okay? So let's go ahead and go to Ankr, see what's happening with Ankr, ANKR. Ankr network here, falling wedge pattern as well. It's a very common pattern you guys will find, and it's very effective and simple pattern that gives a lot lower risk setups, okay, rather than chasing pumping green candles on the day of. Now, Ankr network, huge falling wedge pattern. If it breaks out by this point here, price target would be about just right above 10 cents there. Falling wedges have a higher chance of breaking to the upside, and of course also have to mind the downside risk as well, because I've seen them break down. And just because if it breaks out does not mean that it's going to go 100% to its price target. I've seen breakouts that has broken through its price targets, and breakouts that has flopped way short of its price target. So something to be considering. Let's take a look into daily time frame. Daily time frame here, I talked about a falling wedge pattern that broke to the upside, and it broke out. Price target for this one would be about almost 2 cents. It broke out here, still valid breakouts. Let's see if Ankr could hit this price target before heading to a possible breakout of that bigger falling wedge pattern. Let's go ahead and go to Tars AI TAIUSDT. 3-day time frame. Okay, I talked about this falling wedge pattern here. Very common theme. Price target for this breakout here that happened back in the 3-day candle of July 9th. Price target would be about 13 cents. Breakout still valid because the price action has been staying on top of this upper trend line of that pattern it broke out of. Has not yet formed a cup and handle here yet, but there was a double bottom I talked about, right? A double bottom, one bottom here, second bottom here. Neckline of this double bottom would be about 7.5 cents. Price target for this double bottom would be about 9.4 cents, okay? It is trying to stay on top of the 3-day 21 SMA, the blue line, that is support right now. Okay, trying to get you want to see a solid candle close on top of it that would be reclaiming the support, or bullishly retesting the supports. Otherwise, it's going to lose that support. Now, this cup and handle scenario is still valid, but you want to see a second touch to this upper trend line here at about 8.2 cents. That would finish this cup and handle, which is a bullish pattern that has a higher chance of breaking to the upside. So this is basically what I'm seeing for some of these coins here. If you want to continue seeing any more of Tars AI, Ankr Network, Book of Meme, make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe. I'll do a update for you guys if you guys want to see it. Or any other coins in this market, let me know. I'll pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis. I'll see you on the next one.